Jones does not believe a deal between the club and star pass rusher Micah Parsons is far off, but Jerry also doesn't feel it's urgent to get the deal done.
The idea that the only success is getting a contract done at an early time is incorrect. And I'd rather pay more and get it right than I had pay less and screw it up. The agent is not a factor here or something to worry about. And I don't know his name. And so my point is that I'm not trying to demean him in any way, but this isn't about an agent. The agent doesn't have one thing to do with what we're doing when we get on a football field against a team.
In response to a tweet by Cowboys reporter Clarence Hill saying that Jerry disrespected his agent, Micah posted facts. David is the best, and I will not be doing any deal without David Mulligetta involved. Like anyone with good sense, I hired experts for a reason. There is no one I trust more when it comes to negotiating contracts than David. There will be no back doors in this contract negotiation. Okay, he didn't respect him, but he doesn't matter in this equation, and he doesn't know his name. Peter Schrager, welcome to the team. It is so good to have you. Welcome to ESPN, and thanks for being with us here this morning.
Yeah, and thank you, Jerry Jones, for giving us a topic that we can chew on.
Oh, my God.
This is it.
What else is new?
This is it.
Peter, your takeaway from this situation?
Jerry is a wildcatter. He is an oil man. He is someone who is different than the 31 other decision makers in the NFL. He wants to look at the individual in the eye, and he wants to deal with that person directly. It's a family business to him. And whereas everyone else is worried about salary cap and well, what does this mean? Jerry Jones looks at it as his money, his relationships, and this is something that he wants to do on his timeline and with the individuals that he's dealing with. So when he disrespects an agent, which he did to a very fine agent, I don't ever imagine in my life Jerry Jones coming out being like, well, the agents and athletes first are for top notch, and we can't. That's not him. He wants to deal with you directly. He even referenced Emmett and Dion. We're talking about nearly 40 years ago. He's like, that's how I did my deals with Emmett and Dion. Jerry is not getting any younger, but to him, it is almost more about the art of the deal and the business. And that part of it, it is an art to him, whereas a lot of these different decision makers, it's a science and it's numbers and it's calculations. He wants the personal relationship. This is going to be the second biggest contract that Jerry Jones ever signs. He wants to deal with Micah Parsons directly, man-to-man on that, and not have his agent be the voice box or the person who's speaking on his behalf. Eventually, the agent will get in, and the deal will get done. But to Jerry, this is everything, and this is family, and he wants Micah to be family, and they want to do this stuff together.
You didn't tell a lie. Everything that you said is on point. But it doesn't make what he said any less disrespectful and uncalled for. David is one of the best agents in the business. I got some of his client list here. Just watching, I just Googled it. Maybe I hope they're still with him. I think they are.
Well, at one point.
But this man has Deshaun Watson. He had Derwin James, C.J. Stroud, Kyle Pitts, Jordan Love, T. Higgins. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And what I'm saying is I bring that up because Jerry prides himself on being a businessman and about the business of the National Football League. And when you have an agent representing those kind of clients, obviously he's doing business with the National Football League. You know exactly who the hell he is. Of course, stop lying. And I love Jerry, but come on, man. I mean, this is unnecessary. This is uncalled for. Everybody knows I got a good relationship with Jerry. I got a lot of affection for that man. But I have been very, very concerned because I've seen slippage. Now, I ain't going to go as far as Biden, but I've said this about Jerry Jones before. I like some of the things he said. This is uncharacteristic. This is how it happens sometimes. A year or so. Huh? No.
Is it uncharacteristic?
I'm saying a year. No. Molly, if you go back, we have never seen a preponderance of quotes from Jerry that made no sense. Now, we might hear him say things we disagree with.
No doubt.
But it made no sense. Derrick Henry would have hurt us? Really? Some of the things that he has said this year has been very, very alarming to the point where They actually asked him on radio. Stephen A. said, he's very concerned about it. I am concerned because he's saying things that make no sense. He's saying things that appear to be very clueless and detached from reality. And like you said, and I hand it to you here, Dougie, he is holding on a lot to the past. He's deferring to it a lot more often, like he doesn't even know that times has evolved. And when I asked him, I said, how is it that you think that you're still on top of stuff, particularly with this younger generation?
Yeah.
He said, because I hire a bunch of young people and I keep them around me. Well, how come he ain't listening to them?
All right, I want to get to Mad Dog, but I wouldn't characterize it as slippage, Stephen A. I characterize it as ego.
Well, I think, listen, to me, it's not that big a deal overall because Parsons, at the end of the day, is going to sign a contract anyway. So, I mean, we're going to, and the problem the Cowboys have, we discussed this last week, Peter, they're going to have 48% of their cap with 3 players. $60 million for Prescott, $34 million for
Lamb.
And they go, what is he going to make Parsons? $40 million a year?
He'll be right up there.
Yeah, what's Garrett make a year?
He's making 40.
So he's going to get
41.
paid. He's going to get paid with Garrett. So that's, think about it, it's 140-something million with the 3 guys, and it's a 279 salary cap. So they're going to have 45, 46% with 3 players. So that is hard to win when you only got the 3 guys out of your 50-man roster making that kind of money. Listen, he is bad for your franchise only because he's so omnipresent. When your owner is, doing press conferences after games, radio shows on a weekly basis, twice a week, he's the, pseudo GM, it's just not good.
Well, he is, and that's the thing. I think in other buildings, talking about the Aaron Rodgers Pittsburgh situation right now, Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan are having Art Rooney, the owner, come in, and the owner's saying, hey, what's the latest? Like, give me an update. What do we got? Jerry doesn't answer to anybody. And Jerry doesn't have to. There is no power structure. His son, Steven, is a fine NFL executive. He's not coming in there and being like, Dad, we got to get this deal. It's just not how it works.
But why isn't, since you're here, Peter, thank you. It's good to have you. Why isn't Stephen Jones? Listen, we all find ourselves in a position where we don't want to do something as children.
I say, remember, I got to hit the top of the hour.
Why isn't Stephen Jones having more of an impact on his father?
That torch has not been passed yet.
There we go. Case closed.
Good answer.
Don't be giving me the eye. We got to get a break on time. It's my job. Steph, you...
Okay, anyone would want that, obviously. No one would rather screw it up. But the obvious reality of it is, and look, you don't even need me to explain this to you. This is a zero-sum game, right? Everyone has exactly the same amount of money they can spend. So trying to get the same guy for less rather than more is a critical piece of it. And waiting does, by definition, cost you more. I go back to what Kevin Clark said on this show last year. Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys act like the price tag on expensive players is going to go down as time goes on. It doesn't. It always continues to go up. Harry, what do you make of what he just said?
Well, you have people in the NFL that are proactive, Howie Roseman in the Philadelphia Eagles. You have people that are reactive, Jerry Jones. And I'll just keep it at Jerry Jones because this segment is about the Cowboys. I don't understand it because we understand what the market is right now. There's a reason why the Raiders went ahead and paid Max Crosby. There's a reason why the Browns went ahead and just said, let me go ahead and play Myles Garrett. So we know what the non-quarterback market is for being the highest paid player. So what is it to play around with? You know what the market is. You're only costing yourself more money the longer that you wait, and that money that you could save is money that you can use on other players to help your football team.
Peter, you're new to our group here, and we're delighted to have you. The topic of Jerry Jones and the way he goes about this is a very big one here. Give us your sort of 35,000.
Yeah, it's a different dynamic than every other team. There's 31 owners and there's Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones reports to Jerry Jones. It's a family-run business where the next person in line is his son, Steven, who will never cut Jerry's legs off and say, actually, Dad, we need to do this way. Jerry runs the show. It's his money and it's his timeline. So as frustrating as it is, you go to a different building. Right now, Art Rooney is probably sitting in Omar Khan's office with Mike Tomlin saying, guys, give me an update. What's going on with Rodgers? And they're, well, we know we've got to talk to it and we're talking to him and maybe... Jerry Jones talks to himself and his dealing with himself.
Which is very scary, Peter.
That's sure, it sounds scary, but this is a family-run business, and he's not going to cave into the timelines of others. It might not make sense fiscally from a salary cap standpoint on what they can do. Of course, we can break it down a million ways, and we can bring out the pro football focus and look at the analytics, but he gets his deals done, and the art of the deal is what he takes such pride in, and he believes he's going to do it on his terms.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of our discussions here sometimes are rooted in the idea that waiting on these big contracts prevents the Cowboys from being active in free agency and hurts them. They're not going to be active in free agency. That's a philosophical decision. That's not because they don't have any cap space. It's because they don't believe in free agency as the way to build a roster. So waiting doesn't actually affect that. And Jerry, he has all part of the story yesterday. What Jerry was talking about, he had a meeting with Micah, thought they were making good progress, and now he's dealing with the agent, and he's not thrilled about that. But fundamentally, you have a deal that I think everybody knows is going to get done, but Jerry does enjoy the negotiation. He enjoys the back and forth. He enjoys the art of the deal. He knows he has some leverage. Micah's got $24 million coming this year on the fifth-year option. They don't do a contract, they can franchise him next year for $29. You got Micah for 2 years and $53 million. That's pretty good, right? So if you're Jerry, that's your leverage point. So I think, thank goodness for our show and our discussions. I think this is going to drag on probably through the whole summer.
It frustrates me because I have, contrary to what it may sometimes sound like, I have so much respect for Jerry Jones. I have so much respect for what he has built there. I have so much respect for what he means to the National Football League. He's in the Hall of Fame and he belongs there. But some of the things he says, and I mean this as respectful as I can, just don't make sense. Like that, what he said there just doesn't make sense. The idea that waiting there's no need for urgency. The idea that these contracts are not just going to get more expensive. If he had done this deal a year ago, it would have been a lot less expensive.
It would have been $35 million because Nick Bosa made 34.
But that's why Micah Parsons didn't want to do the deal last year, right? I mean, there's two sides to this.
I understand that.
It's not press a button, deal is done. The player knows that waiting is a good thing as well. So, last year, CeeDee Lamb was not going to sign until Justin Jefferson did. There was nothing Jerry Jones could do about that. Unless you want to go, full Jimmy Haslam and offer $90 million, whatever, just to get it done. But that's not that we'd be ripping him for that too.
So it takes two to tango, is what you're saying.
Micah Parsons, I don't know what cards Jerry's waiting to see played. If you're Micah Parsons, I could see does T.J. Watt do a deal? Does that affect anything in terms of my market? Maybe I don't know what deal Jerry's waiting on in order to see what the price should be.
Put a quick final word on it.
Quick final.